It has been a great pleasure to welcome my friend, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his delegation to Jamaica. We are delighted that he has made a visit to Jamaica a priority on his tour of the Caribbean to promote the Year of Return Ghana 2019. Indeed, this is not his first high-level engagement with Jamaica, having accompanied former President Kufuor on an official visit to Jamaica 14 years ago in the capacity as foreign minister then. I can therefore say, welcome back to Jamaica. This visit and today's meeting reflect the continued strong bilateral relationship that exists between Jamaica and the Republic of Ghana. Our relations are deeply rooted in our ancestral and historic connections, forged over many years and only made stronger by our firm democratic traditions, shared principles, and vision for peace and prosperity, and the cultural affinities which unite our peoples. We cannot forget that many Jamaicans trace their ancestry to the Akan region of West Africa, presently known as Ghana. With the roots of many Jamaicans stemming from Ghana, the President's visit is highly symbolic. It is that very symbolism in Ghana's Black Star which inspired Marcus Garvey to call for the Africans to rise up, for us to unite, to throw off the shackles of mental slavery and accomplish what we will. It is against this background that the President and I have engaged in fruitful discussions to strengthen our partnership to secure increased development opportunities and prosperity for our peoples. Central in our discussions was the Year of Return Ghana 2019, to which the President will speak further in his own remarks. The initiative, from our perspective, certainly presents excellent opportunities to build on the fraternal bonds and take the relations between our two countries and our peoples to greater heights. We can use this initiative to forge increased personal connections and at the same time deepen the trade and commercial relations between our respective countries. We in Jamaica certainly know that the diaspora represents a significant constituency and reservoir of goodwill, philanthropy, investment, and support. In this connection, I am particularly delighted to welcome the President's participation as one of our very special guests at the opening of the 8th Biennial Jamaica Diaspora Conference tomorrow evening. I look forward to his contribution, which I know will be well received. Ladies and gentlemen, our discussions also focused on important bilateral matters, and in particular, measures to improve trade and investments and the movement of people, goods, and services between our two countries. I am pleased to recall that Jamaica and Ghana have signed an air services agreement, and we discussed today ideas about how to utilize that instrument to advance our goal of deeper engagement. As we endeavor to further deepen the relationship between our peoples and nations, the President and I have mandated our Ministers of Foreign Affairs to negotiate and conclude, and I am happy to say that this has happened very speedily because I will allow the President to give that good news, but the mandate has been effected. We also discussed the excellent opportunities for cooperation in other areas, such as energy, mining, sports, and culture, as well as tourism, education, and training. I know that our discussions on these and other topics will certainly advance Jamaica's goal of driving economic growth, creating jobs, and developing the country's overall sustainable development agenda. As a regional leader, Ghana continues to serve as a model for other African states through effective planning and the implementation of strong economic programs. Ghana, the first British colony in Africa to gain independence, this in 1957, has demonstrated the benefits of a political and democratic government. Jamaica welcomes and encourages Ghana's leadership in shaping a stable, secure, peaceful, and prosperous Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I must reiterate on behalf of the government and people of Jamaica our heartfelt welcome to President Akufo-Addo and his delegation, and to reaffirm Jamaica's commitment to strengthening and deepening the relations between Jamaica and Ghana. It has been a pleasure to host you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
And to engage on these matters in the spirit of friendship and cooperation that has characterized the Jamaica-Ghana relationship over the many years. I eagerly look forward to further developments of this vibrant partnership as we work towards achieving peace and prosperity for both our peoples. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister. The most honorable.
Mr. Prime Minister, first of all, let me thank you very much for the invitation and for the hospitality that we have benefited from since we got here early this morning. Our visit here is really, it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that Ghanaian leader will come to Jamaica, because, as the Prime Minister has quite rightly put it, the ties that bind us are ones that go back a long way, they are deep, they have cultural and other ramifications. So there's every reason that I should come here. It is the last leg of my Caribbean tour, but I think all of us know that it is not the least of the steps that I've taken since I've come here. The reasons for the visit have been very eloquently and clearly articulated by the Prime Minister. We have these historical and cultural ties. We also have the potential of building on those ties important economic relations, trade and commercial relations. And in order for our two countries to get maximum value and benefit from the ties that are between us, it is important that we take advantage of those ties to build these strong economic relations. There are lots of areas of possible engagement that we have talked about this afternoon, and the decision has been made on both our parts that the Ghana-Jamaica Joint Commission for Cooperation that has been dormant for some time is going to be reactivated, hopefully this year, if not as early as possible in the first quarter of next year, so that the various areas of engagement that we're talking about can be properly structured within a legal framework for the doing of business between our two countries. This is an extremely important step, because when you look at the flux that the world is going through now, it's important that we have a way of anchoring important relations, and the relations that we have with Jamaica are very important for us. All of us know the impact that the famous Marcus Garvey, your national hero, has had on the independence movements in Ghana. The Black Star Line Shipping Company that he formed for the repatriation of Africans back to Africa, Africans in the Americas back to Africa, became the national shipping line of Ghana under Kwame Nkrumah's guidance. So the intercourse between our two countries has been systematic and of long standing. Now has come the time for us to give teeth to those relations by making sure that the various areas of engagement in education, in tourism, in cultural activity are specifically tied down. That is really my purpose of coming here, apart from also being in a position to sensitize you in Jamaica about an event that we are commemorating this year. 400 years ago, there was the first record of 20 West African slaves that were brought to Virginia in what became the United States of America. And that act precipitated the slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, which brought some 20 to 25 million Africans forcibly out of Africa to the Americas and to the Caribbean. This is a horrendous episode in human history of deliberate enslavement of large numbers of people like that, taken across a Middle Passage that was horrific. But the endurance of our people were there. Yes, it is agreed that 10% of them died on the way, but the 90% that arrived here in bondage still have made a tremendous contribution to the life of the Americas and the Caribbean. We are keen on commemorating this event, largely because a large number of those who came over came through Ghanaian ports and cart forts. We want to commemorate the event to be able to say together that never again will Africa and her people permit themselves to be subjugated to these type of dehumanizing and inhuman events. Never again. And at the same time, we want to use the symbolism of this year to take concrete steps to solidify the relations with our kith and kin in the Americas and in the Caribbean. And the relationship that we are forging here in Jamaica will form part of this process of solidifying the relations between those of us on the continent of Africa and those of you here in the diaspora outside Africa. So coming to Jamaica is a great deal of pleasure for me and my delegation. And we believe that when we leave here tomorrow evening, after I've had the opportunity, the privilege to address the biennial diaspora conference, and we go back home to Accra, we're going back home with concrete decisions and initiatives that we are going to put into action. It completes a very worthwhile week that I've had here, discussing with various Caribbean leaders how we can strengthen the relations across the water and build the bridge that we have to build over the Atlantic so that we can find a way of strengthening each other, us on the continent, yourselves over here, and then growing and empowering our economies to play a more and more critical role in the new global architecture that is being drawn up now. We're going to have relations that are intimate. We cannot have visas standing in the way of those relations. So the decision has been taken by my government that Jamaicans as Ghanaians benefit from visa-free arrangements here in Jamaica, we are also going to provide visa-free arrangements for Jamaicans in Ghana and facilitate and make it easier for you to accept our invitation to come and join us for the year of return. So I want to end by thanking Prime Minister Holness again for the warmth of his welcome and for the invitation that he gave to me to come and visit him here in Jamaica. It's been an extremely worthwhile visit for me and my delegation, and I'm hoping that not in the not too distant future, you'll see me here again. I like this country, and I enjoy its young, handsome Prime Minister. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Mr. President. His Excellency, Nana Addo, Akufo-Addo. And now may we invite, and now we'll have an exchange of gifts. First, Prime Minister Holness.
In Jamaica, the Holland Bamboo in Excellency. I haven't been there in a while, but I can assure you that it still looks like this.
I'm told by my secretary that there's one in Ghana.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
It's called the Bamboo Cathedral.
There you go. There you go. So we have connections.
Mr. President, it's not quite so exotic. More formal. This is the coat of arms of Ghana.
Oh, this is a great privilege.
So they
Thank you, Mr. President.
Then we have scarf, typical Ghanaian scarf,
Yes.
which is about a year old.
So, right. So by this, am I now a chief? Very nice.
A copy of
Year of
the
return.
program for the year of return.
And the Minister of Tourism in Ghana has a gift as well for our Minister of Culture. We still have some more gifts. Excellency. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Nina Johnson-Smith, presents to the President.
So, Mr. President, Mr. President, I have one more gift for you. So we have the best coffee in the world. Don't believe anything anybody is telling you. Well, certainly it is the most expensive coffee. Blue Mountain coffee.
Thank you very much.
It is grown at very high altitude, and the aroma, just the aroma alone, is enough to stimulate. But I have another gift for you. Now this gift, you have to be careful with. It has medicinal qualities. So use it sparingly. Now, this is the Appleton blend of rum. Now, the beauty, now I'm not a rum drinker, Mr. President, let me assure you, but I'm told that this rum is a 12-year-old. But if it says 12 years, then you literally have that true aging, not a part. The entire thing is fully 12-year-old age. And Appleton is almost a 300-year grandfather. It's one of the best rums in the world. Yes. So, Mr. President, I present you with this. Now the spirits will speak through you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prime Minister and Mr. President. And thank you to our visiting delegation from Ghana,